Okay, well, I think we better get started. I still don't see our person who competed in the World Championship, Marianne. I don't think she's there unless she's off to the side of our screen. And she was going to be first with a 5 to 7, one of the two contest speeches that she performed at last summer's World Championship. Well, hopefully she'll still make it, coming in all the way from Toronto. Going to give her my sympathies for the Toronto Blue Jays getting beat. Anyway, welcome to the October Speakers Bureau of District 12. We have a full program scheduled for you and some treats. And we will begin right away. I have some announcements that were left, but I'm going to start with thanking the people that made all this possible, and that's starting out with the VA hospital giving us a location, and then following that up with Sandy Emilino, who's the one who arranged it through the VA hospital. Thank you to our tech whiz back there, Rob Gunneman, and Marilyn Nepke. The hibiscus flower up there will be our timer today, and she got the timing for the first speaker. Sharon Kenty for putting out the publicity that goes out to all of the district to tell us about what we're doing. And especially to thank the district for continuing to support us as a speakers bureau. So we operate at the whim of the district, and the district has decided to continue allowing us to be a part of their organization. I do have, since we have to pay back the district for their wonderful support, I do have some announcements that Jeremiah would like for me to announce, and that, of course, you need to get your dues in. They're already should have been on the 1st of October, so you're a little bit late if you haven't gotten that in. Secondly, don't tell me I got a phone. If I was in my club, I'd be getting fined. Nope. Well, that's spam, so let's spam pay the fine. All right, so that's the first thing. Judges training is coming up right away, so they need to have you be prepared to do contests, because we're going to be doing contests in the spring. They have okayed everything passed at the business meeting, and the contest will be table topics and, of course, international, which is something we do every year. And so make sure that you're getting yourself prepared for that. We are going to be doing contests. Connie's. Are we okay? Yeah, we're good. Oh, she's here? Oh, okay. Well, let me finish up my announcements, so otherwise I'll forget to do them. Okay, Jeremiah said we have 2 new clubs in the first quarter and 2 more clubs starting soon. And they have Citizens Bank and Ontario Emerging Leaders. Anyway, the spring contest will be international and table topics. And the other one is that in our December meeting, we expect to have 1 speaker going for his qualifying speech, Ralph, unless he has changed his mind since the last time I talked to him, Ralph Dieter, our past district governor, Lois Sicking's husband. And we have Paul Tales and humorous. We're going to do that. Officially, we don't call it a contest. It's a humorous competition, because it's not officially sanctioned under exact Toastmaster rules. So we'll have it here, complete with recycled trophies that have been contributed to the cause, and so you'll be getting a trophy that's engraved. I sure hope Alicia doesn't compete, because I don't want to have to mail her trophy all the way to Australia. But we worked that out with Dan McGill. Dan McGill, by the way, from London, will be here in person for the December speech contest. So that'll be a treat, just fresh from competing at international. And with that, we are ready to go on to, I could see her there somewhere, so I'm reassured that I'm not introducing somebody that's not there.
She's there. She's there.
Okay. All right. We have a very special guest coming from Toronto, Canada, who was on stage last year at the international and came in 3rd. Now, I'm not sure whether this speech is the one that she gave or one of the, you have to do more than one speech. And anyway, I had a special request from someone who got to meet her. And so, Michael, would you like to say all those nice, warm, fuzzy words about our guest speaker that I am so glad is here. And if we are really nice to her, she said she might be willing to come back and give us a full presentation in November. So be nice to her. And Michael, go ahead. You get to start being nice.
Well, thank you so much. Miriam, I think you're in Montreal, though, right? She's in Montreal. You confuse Quebec with Ontario province. All the Californians never know where people are from. So it was my honor in August. I got to see Miriam's semi-final speech, and she totally rocked it. And I saw her final speech, and she totally rocked it there. And then at the gala, you can see we're all dressed up. Miriam, I don't know if you can see it, but we had a really nice chat after dinner. We talked about which speech we liked the best. I'm not going to tell you which one she liked the best, and what an honor it was to have her on stage and to actually take the picture and get a chance to speak with her. Isn't that great? Wow, at the convention. So, well, the other thing that Tom didn't say is Miriam is a motivational speaker. She has a program called Be Unstoppable that she does in multiple languages, including they call it French, but it's probably in some, Canadian, Quebec French, English, Arabic. Who knows how many languages she speaks, but it's a lot. And tonight we are so honored, Miriam, to hear your talk. You have no idea. You have no idea. Is that this talk we're giving? Come off mute. Come off mute.
And 5-7, correct?
There she is.
That is correct. Sorry.
If we have extra time, maybe she would do both speeches. I don't know. All right. Give it up for Miriam Ghani.
Have you ever felt like your parents and you come from different planets? My father and I, different galaxies. We speak different languages. He speaks Arabic. I speak millennial. He speaks safety and certainty. I speak freedom and fun. Picture a tall ex-military, but extra caring, with extra high pants. That's my father, Sammy. Are you familiar with helicopter parents? My dad is an Iraqi drone. Mimi, come back home. The closer he hovered, the further I escaped. When I was 3, the moment we got to the hotel on family vacation, I sprinted straight to the open elevator doors, the silver gates of freedom. Dad flipped the hotel upside down to find me, and he found me, sitting with kind strangers, eating their pistachios. Who needs parents when you've got pistachios? Midnight! Never do this again. You have no idea how much I love you. Bye. When I was 16, I went ice skating for the first time. Dad stopped me at the door. Mimi, please, be careful. This ice, it is very dangerous. If you fall, you're gonna die. But the teen in me was determined. No, you just want to stop me from living my life. You're always in my way. Wait, come back home. You have no idea how much I love you. When I was 21, I was told I was losing my eyesight. That day, Dad stood by my side and he asked the doctor, "Doctor, can I please give her my eyes?" Dad, it was the first time I had ever seen my military father cry. I had no idea how much he loved me. I grew up. Dad grew older, and we grew apart. I used my diagnosis to chase the freedom I craved. I wanted to see the world before losing my sight. But wherever I went, something was always missing. Calling, Miriam, come back home. And I did go back home this year, when Dad's progressing Parkinson's landed him in hospital. I sat by his bedside and gently held his frail hands. Every part of me wished I could take away his disease. Dad, Baba, remember when you asked the doc, can I give her my eyes? Why did you say that? Mimi, you really have no idea how much I love you. And for the first time, Dad told me stories about his past, my past. When you were just a year old during the war in Iraq, I guarded the door all night to protect you. And even today, I would still protect you. So, do you still give me your eyes? And how do I get around? Dad, Mimi, my daughter, you don't need them anymore. But I do, so I can keep seeing you growing into the brave daughter you have become. I am proud of you. It was the first time I'd felt so free being home. Dad, Baba, you have no idea how much I love you. Although my father and I come from different galaxies, after 33 years, we finally spoke the same language. I may have lost my sight, but Dad gave me insight on how to live and how to love unconditionally. He taught me that no matter where you come from, no matter what language you speak, whether you are sighted or not, there is one language that is universally understood, one that unites nations, friends, families, and that is the language of the heart. Friends, how would this world be if we all spoke that language? If we all loved like Sami? You have no idea.
Thank you, Miriam. Wow. So, Tom, I could ask her some questions so we can. Are we okay? Tom? He's looking at. So, Miriam, how has your life changed since the convention in Bahamas?
Well, it's given me many opportunities to achieve my dream, which is to connect with as many people as possible from all over the world and be able to share my message, but also create these beautiful friendships and relationships. And I think that's the main change that I've had since then.
How many different districts have you spoken at? Have you keep track?
Oh, I didn't keep track. I lost track, but I had the great honor of speaking for a district all the way in India, And it was just nice that they prepared a whole event, and it was an interview, and they wanted me to give a short keynote with that. And people were so involved, and everybody wanted to learn something from me. And I never thought that I always wanted to share hope with people, but I never thought someone would want to learn something. And I thought, wow, it just proves that I still have so much to learn if I feel this way, and I'm never going to stop learning.
Well, we have a lot to learn from you too, because you're a beautiful role model. And when people make excuses, then I just, you say, come on, give me a break here. Just do what needs to be done. And tell us what it was like being on the final stage with 3,000 people, a huge stage being televised all over, live streamed in 140 countries.
Honestly, I didn't even take it in. I didn't have time to think of that. And I think I didn't want to give myself time to think of it. First of all, I can't even see the audience. So that really played in my favor, because it made me less nervous, not knowing, the amount of not seeing the amount of people there was. But I just I prayed in the back, and I said backstage, that was before both speeches, and I said, I just pray that the audience receives my message with an open heart, and that it may touch someone in the audience, even if it's just one person. And I focused on delivering my message with giving the best of me, the best I could at that moment, and with love. And I think that's what I try to focus on. And I just went on stage and I said, that's it. When the adrenaline kicks in, I think it does miracles.
Well, I think you touched 2,000 or 3,000 people, and all the judges as well, obviously, since number 3 in the world is impressive in any way, shape, or form. Our district has only had 2 or 3 people even make it to the final stage, so it's very impressive for us to anyone who can be a top 3. And of course, I think you should have won, but I'm biased. I wasn't a judge this year, so I didn't get to say, and I can say those. Tom, is there any questions from the group here that they have? This is a great opportunity to ask a question.
Questions, comments?
I don't see right now. Maybe there is.
What's that, Tom?
Maybe there is. You had a note with me though, because I coached student speakers for like 20 years or something, and I only came up with one piece of advice, and I want a piece of advice from you to anyone out here maybe thinking about going on and dreaming of being on the stage. But my message, my story to give students to get over nervousness, none of them had ever competed before, and that was that the message is the magic. So if you keep in mind your message, and that's pretty much what you said, you have this message that needs to get out, and you need to get it out, and maybe you don't think about being nervous. But any other questions from members in the audience?
Judy has a question online. Judy?
Yes, I have actually 2 questions.
Oh my.
Yeah, if you will allow me. First question is, which club are you a member of? Maybe you're in multiple clubs in Toastmasters.
Yes, I'm actually in one single club for now. I do want to join other ones. I'm in a club in Ottawa called Tunney's Toastmasters, and no one knows it. Every time I say the name, no one's familiar with it. It's been around, I think, for at least 20 years.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. So wait, you live in Montreal, but you're in a club in Ontario?
Exactly. Actually,
yes.
Mentioned that. Yes, that's probably what created the confusion. Actually, I joined Tunney's during COVID, so they had become hybrid virtual for that moment, and now they're considered a hybrid club. So this is why, and I stayed with them, of course. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great. So hold on, Judy, because Marilyn had a question, which was, I looked up on LinkedIn because I just that you have this motivational speaking group career, and tell us how you started that and what your purpose is.
Yeah, thank you so much. After coming, failing and university, maybe 3 or 4 times at that point, I finally went back after doing vision rehabilitation. So I learned how to read Braille. I learned how to cross the street with a white cane. I learned my cardinal directions, and I basically I decided to start my life all over again. And I said part of that is going to be finishing university and getting a degree, because at that point I was a professional makeup artist. That was the only degree I had. And I'd started, but I stopped so many times because my vision had continued degenerating. And I went back in 2017, I remember. And at that point I said, I'm going to go and I'm going to finish on a good note. I walked in with my white cane, and I remember my first class was a professional communications and networking course. And back to school was my second certification in entrepreneurship. And my professor approached me later on, and during the semester, he heard me speaking towards the end, and he said, Miriam, I didn't know you could speak. I couldn't, because I wasn't speaking the whole time. And he said, you're pretty good. Have you ever considered telling your story? And I said, really, Brendan? I don't know, like, I'm kind of scared. I never shared my story. I always wanted to hide it, actually. And he said, how about you be the mystery speaker for my event that he puts together this event at the end of his course, and there's always speakers that he invites, and they're professional speakers. He said, why don't you be one of them? And I said, really? He said, I've never spoken. That's actually been my dream. And he said, well, it's your chance, and he offered to be my mentor. And he encouraged me and shared a couple of quotes with me. And I don't know, he convinced me. And I gave my first speech, and I have it on YouTube, and I will not remove it. The purpose of that is that I want everybody to see how I started, what I looked like. I looked so nervous. I kept walking back and forth. I said and so many times. And so this is the perfect example of an imperfect speech. And I think if I can say something, there's a quote that stuck with me. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great.
All right, Michael.
I don't know what else I don't know what else. How can you answer that? That is just a beautiful ending, right, Tom?
Yep. All right, so we need to get on to, we have 3 more speakers, believe it or not. We have a full program just like next month. Our next speaker is also coming from Canada, District 123. And am I going to get it right this time? Is he Toronto? Anyway, Hatish is a tech-savvy, dynamic, roll-up-your-sleeves, attitude team player, Sony factory-trained electronics engineer, and professional broadcasting, passion and curiosity for developing interactive e-learning courseware for various audiences and adult education. CEO of Bragging Rights, the IT company in the forefront of technology, convenience, 3D, AR, and so on. He has achieved his DTM, and congratulate him. He's working on his DTM and pathways, which puts us both on the same page. He has won humorous contests and a district in competing in international, and he loves humor and making noise. And he, an ardent proponent of self-improvement, the art of SISU, strength of will, determination, perseverance, and acting. Well, I missed the last word. Sorry about that. Anyway, Hatish, and hopefully I'm right. He's from Toronto, and he has not his first rodeo. You know the old saying, "It's not his first rodeo." He has been here before a few years ago. Oh, before I forget, the one more thing I wanted to say, and that was that Miriam's speech would have been perfect for a program we had not too far back about fathers and Father's Day. We had one themed meeting all about mothers and another one all about fathers, and must have had 12 to 15, 18 speakers in each case. And yours would have been perfect for that evening. Maybe we'll do something again to celebrate Father's Day. Anyway, back to you, Hatish, speaker number 2.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Although I'm not exactly old, but I can't deny that I seem to be headed in that general direction. For someone born in the 60s, how much longer can I pretend to be middle-aged? But is that even the right question? Perhaps a better question is, how do I nourish all aspects of my physical health, mental health, and emotional well-being while remaining true to myself and being helpful to my fellow humans and the planet? Could Hollywood and fantasy hold the key? Let's explore this together. I must confess that I'm a big fan of science fiction. From Arthur C. Clarke's 2001 A Space Odyssey to the more recent classics like Matrix, I've always found stories fascinating. For those who might not know, the 2001 Space Odyssey is an allegory about humanity's exploration of their universe and the universe's reaction to humanity. I really didn't understand so many parts of this movie, which was filmed in 1968, until I saw it 6 times over. But speaking about Matrix, I'm sure many of you, do you remember the choice that Morpheus makes? It was a pivotal moment. Morpheus said, "This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill and the story ends here. You wake up in the bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill and you stay in Wonderland." And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. It's a choice that resonates with the idea of self-discovery and embracing the unknown. But of all the Hollywood sci-fi offerings, there's one that has fascinated me. Some might even say that I'm obsessed with it. It is Star Wars. Who could forget the lovable and occasionally trash-like talking droids, the C-3PO and R2-D2? They added a unique charm to the movies. But the main story is about a father and son embroiled in an interplanetary war between an authoritarian empire and a rebel freedom-fighting forces. Sounds like current events, right? What's not like about a galaxy filled with epic battles, heroic journeys, and timeless struggles between the light and dark sides of the Force? In fact, Star Wars fondly reminds me of my childhood and the ancient Hindu Ramayana. My grandma would read these from the Vedic scriptures, which suggests to me that these stories are timeless and intergenerational. My personal journey begins in a galaxy not so far, far away. As a teenager, I grew up in the 80s. I had my share of challenges, including ADD, OCD, CD, DVD, and breathing issues. I found solace in the excitement of Star Wars franchise. Little did I know that my quirks would make me cool. My friends used to tease me, "Hitesh, stay away from the power of the dark side." And they accused me of using the Force inappropriately. The truth is, behind this mask, Darth Vader, I was able to hide my real thoughts and feelings. I adhered to the mantra, don't trust, don't show, don't talk. It was a survival strategy, a way to navigate the world that I felt overwhelming. What mask are you wearing in your journey? Supreme Commander and members of the Speakers Bureau Alliance. I was once inspired by Jedi, and my mentors were quite the pair. Darth Vader on one side, who harnessed the Force for control, domination, and destruction. And then you had Yoda, the wise Grandmaster, who wielded the Force for knowledge, defense, and never for attack. My life became a daily struggle, torn between these two polar opposites. I found myself trapped behind a mask, feeling utterly confused. No one truly understood what it took for someone like me to summon the willpower to get out of bed, to muster the energy to appear presentable and to confront the world without hiding behind this Darth Vader mask. Let me assure you that behind this mask, there's a kind, loving, and misunderstood soul. While help is available when symptoms are obvious, what about those invisible struggles that go unnoticed? The World Health Organization tells us that nearly 800,000 people commit suicide each year, which translates to one beautiful soul lost every 40 seconds. Some have taken the phrase, "Stop the world, I want to get off," quite literally. Over the last couple of decades, the thought of disconnecting and stepping away has crossed my mind. This was especially problematic during the pandemic. Have you ever felt stormtroopers everywhere while relentlessly dismantling everything you held near and dear? Broke, busted, and disgusted. I lost my job, friends, my family, and even my motivation. I hit rock bottom. But little did I know that rock bottom had a basement. The late comedian Robin Williams once said, "I used to think that the worst thing in life is to end up being alone." It's not. The worst thing in life is to end up with people who make you feel alone. I've been there, and my inner Yoda cried, "Hitesh, be the force that makes someone seen, heard, and supported." My desperation transformed into inspiration as I challenged my inner Yoda. Rise we do, by lifting others. And to bring balance into my dysfunctional galaxy, I replaced my Darth Vader traits with 4 Yoda-inspired strategies. L. Listening to my heart and my feelings. I used to be trapped by the past baggage, hoping, wishing, waiting for something to change. Rather than feeling sorry for myself, I stopped listening to others' opinions and my own negative self-talk. Oh, observing my Darth Vader moments, releasing the need to take control. I learned to recognize my patterns and triggers. In the wise words of Yoda, do or do not, there is no try. V, valuing people more than things. I've learned that my relationships impact my level of happiness. Relationships are not built by forcing others to understand you, but by reassuring them that you will never misunderstand them. Never take any day or anyone for granted. Someone once said, "We die only once, but we live every day." Cherish every moment. E, empathizing. As I shifted my focus from myself to walking in other people's shoes, I learned that a galaxy not so far, far away, we are more the same than we are different. When I beam my light into their darkness, I can shine even brighter. And occasionally, I'm tempted to put on my Darth Vader mask. Let's face it, some habits are hard to break. And Yoda agrees. You must unlearn what you have learned. My journey from mental chaos to mental clarity was possible because I had the courage to remove my mask. I now view the power of the dark side not as a path towards dominance and destruction, but as a catalyst for courage, integrity, and resilience. My battle isn't over, and I know I'm not alone. In much the same way that Copernicus overturned the myth that the Earth was the center of the universe, Our understanding of the brain has evolved. It holds potential to enhance memory and mental functioning as we age. My Jedi brain is not, as once believed, a compartmentalized, hardwired, static machine whose parts will eventually wear out. Instead, it is a highly adaptable, dynamic organ capable of generating new neurons and improving. Yes, you heard me correctly. Improving as I grow older. Hey, Yoda was 900 years young. It's worth noting that every person of average intelligence can elevate their IQ, enhance their memory, and sharpen their intelligence throughout their lives with appropriate training. You don't have to agree with me. You simply must be willing to follow and take action. And you're curious, how can I get started? Well, let me share some insights that I have learned through fighting back my preconceived notions that life is supposed to unfold. By embracing a positive and optimistic attitude towards aging, reaching a milestone birthstone doesn't mean that you put on the brakes. Aging gracefully is not a fantasy. There are proven techniques that can help you navigate uncharted galaxies. Once such a technique is to oxygenate your brain and through exercise and learning new things, even when something is challenging or unfamiliar. Another essential step is finding a guiding purpose for life. Legendary psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl believed that the greatest task for any person is to find the meaning of their own life. I don't think I'm speaking out of turn when I say we are all passionate about something in life. That passion is what gets you charged up, and it will help you answer what your purpose of life is in. This isn't hard to find. Simply start to notice the things that you always look forward to doing. That's where the answer is. For me, it is making a positive impact on an organization's most valuable asset, their staff. Whatever and whenever they wish to learn, in a fun, engaging, and interactive learning experience, I create and provide the training in every imaginable field. So the knowledge acquired will continue to serve mankind. Additionally, focusing on gratitude, forgiveness, and humor can be transformative. Imagine the wonderful new world that could emerge if a critical mass of people applied these simple techniques, not to mention the substantial savings in healthcare costs. From all that I have learned about aging, I've come to believe that healthy relationships are the foundation for a real world heaven on earth. I'm convinced that if more than us take to heart the idea that we must get better at ourselves and each other, we can make this a more loving place, one relationship at a time. I challenge you to share your hearts right now, not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Use the hearts emoji icons and reactions. Shed your mask and awaken the force within. Listen, observe, value, empathize. The silver lining, with love, everything is possible. In closing, we embark on this exploration of aging and self-discovery and the lessons that we can learn from Hollywood and fantasy. Let's remember that the force is in all of us, and it has always been with us. It's not just a concept from a galaxy far, far away. It's a powerful reminder that within each of us, there is a potential for growth and the ability to make a positive impact on the world, regardless of our age and stage. May the force be with you.
Well, wonderfully inspiring words. You can't make jokes about suicide, but only this time of year is about the only time it ever fleetingly crosses my mind, because I'm still doing my income taxes with days left to go to turn that in. But your advice about having the passion, I have to apologize. That's my excuse, at least, for not remembering to give the title to your speech before you started. May the force be with you, and you certainly exuded that when you in your message. And everybody should really give these guys extra applause for coming here in the middle of the night to give us speeches, because it's 3 hours different time zone. So they didn't even get to walk into the meeting until 10 o'clock at night. So I hope that some of my Speakers Bureau members are willing to be called upon to go and speak on the East Coast or in New Zealand or wherever they might be asked to speak, because it's always nice to have a little touch of the world culture in our presentations. My next speaker is one that I have that I know well. And she handed me her introduction. So let me see if I can find that so I get it exactly right. Let's see, her introduction. She says, "Say what you will, Tom, and deal with the consequences." Oh, that probably wasn't what I was supposed to read. Anyway, our next speaker, a former chair of Speakers Bureau. Before I was a qualified speaker, a distinguished Toastmaster many times over, and inspirational in terms of getting a club in the district called Readers and Writers, which I don't know how in the world she ever convinced me to join. I guess she has a lot of influence on me, because I always make jokes about not reading books. Why would I ever want to read a book? I can't imagine, but she's got me, and I'm not going to write one either. But she has a story to tell about, she's now a published author 2 times over, and they're not in the same venue. Her 2 speeches, I'll let her tell you all about the process. And the name is Right. That's like
Right on.
Right On. So next speaker is Connie Jameson. We still shake hands.
Thank you, Tom. Are you, well, I know you're not. Are you a published author? Are you a future published author? Or just an author that has a story stuck here or here? Tonight, I want to share with you how important your written words are for you, for others, and perhaps even the world. Imagine a book club. The members are sitting around having a lively discussion about chapter number 3 in your novel. How cool is that? Or people are talking about your poetry. What does that line really mean? Or discussing the wonderful tips they receive from your self-help book, your short stories, your magazine articles, your essays, on and on. There are so many ways that you can write and share. Another genre of writing that is very rewarding and very appreciated is the memoir. Appreciated because when you do that, you are giving information, you're giving stories that can be handed down through the generations. Our daughter, Tina, tells us every now and then, I want you to write your stories about yourself, about your lives, because I want your grandchildren and my grandchildren and their grandchildren to know about you. Well, my husband, Tom, thoroughly agrees. He hasn't done anything about it yet, but he wholeheartedly agrees. Tom will say, wouldn't it be special to find a diary, to find letters, to find anything written so that you could find out about the life of your great-great-grandfather. What was the day in the life of, or what was the world like when he lived? The world has changed and continues to change so rapidly. What you and I are experiencing will soon be history. But by our writing about it, we can make sure it stays alive. Me, history, what would I have to share, some might say? Let me give you a couple examples. Farm life. I have such fond memories of living on a farm and experiencing gathering the eggs, milking a cow, riding on a tractor, even driving the tractor, I'm sure for a very short distance. But many children, maybe most children today, will never have experienced a farm. Never have been there. But if we share some of that information, some of those experiences, they can have just a tiny bit of a day in the life living on a farm. Another example, school days. How many of you had the honor of being chosen by your teacher for that very, very important job? Cleaning the chalkboard erasers, or should I say, blackboard erasers. Unfortunately, we have lost connections between the generations. We do not have the get-togethers of the families. We do not have children just being able to listen in to those neighbors or those relatives sitting around and just swapping stories. Stories that you write down and save, funny stories, heartfelt stories of people, places, experiences. Telling what happens in your family, your community, your world can help future generations to know more about what will be the good old days. Yes, your written words can help your history, our history, stay alive and not forgotten. Another benefit of writing for me personally, and I bet for you too, because hey, you're Toastmasters, is that those written words provide material for going out and giving presentations. Yes, we Toastmasters like to speak. Well, my first published book, Dating and Mating, Wit and Wisdom on Love and Marriage, did just that. I have done reading from my book to several groups over a period of time. And what fun to look out and see the nods, the smiles, the chuckles, and to have people tell me, your book cracked me up. Or my husband and I really liked those parts at the end that talk about long-term marriage. We could relate. What can you share? You know, I find that writing the books gives me the power of the pen. It allows me to share what I see, what I believe, what is important and meaningful to me. And one thing I like to share is that the material that I write down on paper, that I put in a book, is by and large what I observe in everyday situations, the relationships that I see out there, the humor, the touching moments. And I hope that in some small way, I can influence people to realize the importance of the everyday relationships, the little moments of life. So what will you share? What should you share? What will you share? You have experiences, you have knowledge, viewpoints, information, inspiration, words of wisdom, because you have lived your life with all its ups and downs, all its happies and sads, its dreams and disappointments. Share what you have gained with others. Travel, for example. Do you have fond memories of amazing scenery, fascinating learning experiences, interesting people with perhaps some wild and crazy situations along the way, and you wish you could go back and visit those travel sites again? Well, do it. Write about those travels. This will allow you to revisit and to take some hitchhiking readers along with you. Let your writing paper be a magic carpet to travel. I love this quotation that I heard on our very last trip. Traveling, it leaves you speechless, then turns you into a storyteller. Yes, write those stories. Another example, people. Have you heard it said, boy, I wish you could have met my Uncle George. What a character. He had the funniest jokes, but he was still the sweetest guy. Well, let us meet your Uncle George or grandma or that special neighbor, teacher, your best friend, or the kind stranger. Someone so special that that person should be remembered and shared with others. In today's world, we hear and see such negative stories about people who are mean, cruel, destructive. We need the upbeat, the positive, the Uncle George stories. Who is going to tell those much needed stories? I bet you have known inspirational people. Just telling their stories can help you make this old world a better place. Tell us. If not you, then who? There's another type of writing that I haven't yet mentioned, and it's one that I hope you will consider, and that is writing for children. Just last month, my second book was published, Twinkle Toes. It's a children's picture book, and I don't even have my copies yet. This little gray band, that is telling us that this is the one for me to check, the last minute check to see if there are any changes before it goes to print. So it is just hot off the press. I love writing children's picture books. I love telling fun stories that are enhanced by the illustrations on the pages. But perhaps you would rather write a chapter book or a young adult novel to target the upper elementary school students or the teenagers. No matter which level, those stories are a powerful resource for connecting and communicating what is so needed today. Subjects that should be addressed but are difficult to do may lend themselves to conversations about the characters and the situations in a book. For example, in my book, Twinkle Toes, Ellie the elephant loves to dance, but just can't see herself up on the stage. I read from the blurb on the back. Oh no, it is almost time for the big dance recital, and the lead dancer has been hurt. How will the show go on? Ellie the elephant knows all the moves, but she doesn't feel like a real dancer. She feels self-conscious and scared. Will she be brave enough to save the performance? In this sweet, heartwarming story, we learn the importance of hard work, practice, and being kind, both to others and ourselves. Early in the story, Ellie tells her mom, I am not a good dancer. Look at me, Mom, look at me. I'm just a chubby little elephant. In Twinkle Toes, we can address shyness and body images by talking about Ellie. How do you think Ellie feels? What do you think Ellie should do? What about the other dancers? Ellie's mom is supportive and caring, but not a pushy parent. Questions could be asked about the mom. What do you think mom should do? What do you think would happen or could happen if Ellie's mom did such and such? That would give children the opportunity to think about choices that parents might have to make and the considerations that go into making decisions. In the story, Ellie is always ready to help the other dancers whenever they ask her. What do the other dancers think of Ellie? Why don't they try to get Ellie to dance on the stage? What if they did try? By asking for their thoughts and ideas, we can let children know that we value their opinions. To realize that there are a variety of opinions, not everyone is going to have the same ideas, that situations and problems are generally not simple, and answers not clear-cut. Hopefully, the discussion of a book plot will come to have additional discussions. What do you think are ways to help Ellie? What if this happened in the story, or that happened in the story? Ellie's story is about someone wanting to become a dancer. Can you think of a story someone could write about another character having another interest, maybe a sport, a hobby, a school subject? And of course, you could ask, have you ever felt like Ellie? Would you want to share with us about it? Get those creative juices flowing. Get kids thinking about others, about feelings, about likenesses and differences, about the impact of our actions and decisions. Have students share, listen to others, respond to others. Yes, connecting, communicating, give and take, respecting others' opinions and ideas. Powerful, powerful and so needed. Your writing could help these results occur. As I worked on this presentation, I recalled other examples of the power of the pen. How writing and sharing can actually change lives. Teacher Erin Gruelle and her Freedom Writers. Erin, a new teacher at Long Beach High School, where the expected graduation rate was 20%, used writing as a way to help her students change themselves and the world around them, resulting in all 150 of her Freedom Writer students graduating high school and many going on to college. The Freedom Writer's Diary, a book by Erin Gruelle and her Freedom Writers, as well as the movie Freedom Writers, will tell you this amazing, inspiring story of how writing of their anonymous journals changed students' lives and, of course, the worlds around them. Veteran interviews. Another program of which I've read is having teens interview military veterans. Again, I imagine that amazing results should occur by bringing these generations together, allowing teens to hear stories that they likely would not hear otherwise, and giving veterans a voice that is heard and appreciated. Building interest, caring, and understanding that would work both ways. Reading programs. Have older students read to younger students and perhaps least discussions about the reading. Have older students mentoring younger students to help them as they try to write their first books. Younger students could practice their reading with the older students, and students could go out to present to seniors living in assisted living type facilities. The power of the pen. So many opportunities to use written words to be used for the betterment of our world. I leave you with two things. Activities you might use in your Toastmaster clubs, and quotations related to writing. The activities are two that I have used in my reading and writing Toastmaster club. Wait, I think I hear an advertisement here. Yes, you do. You do indeed. And yes, it is. Come and join us at Readers and Writers, the second and fourth Tuesdays of each month from 5 to 6:30 p.m. We're on Zoom. Contact me for more details. Oh, yes, back to the activities. First one, start your table topics period with a presented writing prompt. Give members 5 minutes. They all write on that prompt, and then call on the members one by one to share the responses that they have. You will likely be impressed by the variety and the quality of the writing that is shared. Such fun to see how we all had the same word or photo, quotation, question, or whatever that we would write about, and came up with so many different and interesting responses. Number 2, call on members individually, giving each an animal character. The person is to create a story about their animal. I found it amazing, the clever stories that were shared in only 1 to 2 minutes. One example is Lyman. He was given the frog as his character. Lyman told how Henry had faced adversity in his life there in the pond, but Henry became Henry the healer because he wanted to hop around. He sought to help others by sharing and having them learn from his challenges. I wanted Lyman to finish his story so I could learn more about Henry the healer. Now, quotations. One I think of so often. Write without fear, edit without mercy. What that tells me is that we may think, oh, I could never write about that. I wouldn't have any story about that subject. Try it. Get in there, just jump in and give it a good try. You may find, wow, I've got a story here. Then edit without mercy. Keep making it better and better and better till it's ready to maybe go in a book or to be taken on the road as a presentation. Tom shared another one earlier. The message is the magic. Another, don't let the world miss out on meeting your character or your message. I think about little Ellie the elephant. If I didn't write this story, Twinkle Toes, it's a big, huge world out there. Maybe somebody would have, but probably not. And Ellie still wouldn't be the same Ellie that I created. I want people to meet sweet Ellie and learn from her. And finally, if not you, then who? So use that power of the pen and write on, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Connie. Good job. Most seniors, most people that are adults probably don't think that they really have anything that, say, teenagers would want to share. Now, Connie spent 39 years as an elementary teacher, so she's a natural to write a children's story. But I'm reminded of a story that that was a joke, basically, and it said that the 17-year-old girl said, or when she was 17, when I was 17, my father was so stupid. And then when I turned 21, I was amazed at how much he had learned. And so maybe they won't pay any attention to your story now, but they might later. The thoughts of your suggestions and ideas when you write, even if you write that children's story, even if you write a few paragraphs that are passed on generations later, as she alluded to earlier, I really have said that on many occasions, how wonderful it would be if you discovered a diary of your great-grandparents from the 1800s and what was life like. So thank you for doing that. And hopefully your commercial will pay off, and maybe some others will join readers and writers, and they can do that even from Toronto, Canada, and Montreal. So that could be done. Okay. All right, we do have another speaker who has been not a teacher, but a good parent, because she was working with going to a required meeting, meet with her child's coach, I guess that's what it was. Our next speaker, and I use that income tax excuse yet for not remembering too much of an introduction about her, but I want to say a couple of things. She was the keynote speaker at District 12's TLI just a year or so ago. Did a bang-up job when she did that. And she gave me some choices about what to speak about. And the one I thought was going to be the hottest one of the day, and that's the one she's going to be speaking about. And let me read it exactly. Unlocking the power of AI to drive business growth and innovation as a speaker. Boy, AI is the hottest topic going around. There's something about Tom Hanks and a commercial for dental insurance or something where it's not really him, it's somebody example of him. And so there's great positives, and I've heard wonderful things about the possibility of finding cures for diseases and that sort of thing. So there's a lot in AI, and I think we will hear from Kimberly Smith-Austin about the power of AI.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tom, for the opportunity. Good evening to my fellow Toastmasters Speaker Bureau members. I am so excited to be here with you all tonight. As Tom mentioned, I was off at a parent meeting, so I do apologize for my late attendance, but I hope to make it up in tonight's presentation. I do have a PowerPoint. I'm not sure if sharing capabilities are on, and it looks like they are. So I will be sharing my screen with you all. What's great about what I'm doing is I'm sharing using one of today's hottest tools that also incorporates AI. So if you haven't used it, here's a tremendous opportunity to see it in action. Now, just to give you a little background of who I am Kimberly Smith-Austin, business growth strategist. I spent many years in corporate America working with CEOs and organizations as a management consulting, helping them build their entities from process improvement to change management, strategic planning, as you can see, high performance coaching, international speaker, best-selling author. And Tom, I actually have 22 years at the university level teaching strategy and business and all those fun things. And then, of course, you may not know, but I also have a podcast. Here's some of the companies I've served. And the reason I give this is just to give you a little background. Spent a lot of years in an IT tech company. My original major from college was information technology and how I've always used it as a tool. But when I recognized that I had a skill as a speaker, as a teacher, I kind of transitioned a little bit. And so here's some of the folks I've worked with and served over the years. And this is just a handful. But I want to start tonight by asking each and every one of you a question. You know a little bit about me, but help me learn a little bit about you. Now, I know you're all here because you're at Speakers Bureau, but for those of you that are here online and can respond in the chat, please do so. How do you want to grow as a speaker? And that's me making an assumption that all of you want to grow because you're in Speakers Bureau. But A says, I want to just improve my overall communication. Maybe you're here because you want to grow in your career growth and career advancement. Maybe you're looking at increase your professional network. And we know that speaking is powerful. Or maybe you say, you know what, I want to grow and develop a speaking business. So wherever you are, I want you to throw it in the chat. Those of you that are online, and for those folks that are live and in person, maybe look to the person to your left and right and tell them why you want to grow as a speaker. And that's assuming you want to grow. If you don't, tell them, I'm just here having a good time. And that's okay too. Now, let's look at this whole talk about what is artificial intelligence. We've heard the term, but what is this really? AI is the use of computer systems to simulate human mental processes, such as interpreting and generating language. Now, we know that there's only one of you, only one of you. And as a result of there only being one of you, we're going to look at AI and see how it could possibly emulate you and what you want to accomplish as a speaker. Little background on AI. It's been around for a long time. We heard it, but we didn't know about it. We didn't touch and feel and experience it. Back in 1956, John McCarthy introduced the term at a Dartmouth conference at a university setting. They started doing some knowledge, logic-based training, but it wasn't until 1980s that it actually became more accessible by way of PCs. Now, I'll tell you, I just did a conference on Saturday, this past Saturday, where I talked a little bit about AI as well. But if you look at this timeline, and I don't want to really delve into it deeply, but I want you to look at those key points. Again, the beginning, the golden age of science fusion, if you will, early 1900s, and then 1956, looking at how Dartmouth brought it up as a term. You continue to see it's moving its way along. But guess what? We're 2023, and we're just really getting our hands on it. 2020, I started seeing a little bit more, but now it's a buzzword. Everyone knows it. Everyone's heard of it. Now, here's the question. Is everyone using it? No, it's still underused. And I imagine that some of you here in our audience today probably haven't even used it yourself. So today I want to talk a little bit about how you can utilize it personally as a speaker. But let's look at some organizations that have been using AI for some time. Google. Did you know that Google's been using AI for over 20 years? Yes, I said 20 years. Now, here's my favorite. I just returned from Europe last Friday. My favorite tool while there was Translate. I went to Turkey, which they speak Turkish. I went to Germany. There's German. And then I went to Czech Republic and Prague. Czech Republic, and they spoke, and I was able to use the Google Translate tool to communicate simple terms, hello, thank you, all those formal greetings using AI. Thank goodness that Google created that tool. And then how about, hey Siri, if you have, you know, guess what? My Apple phone and my Apple computer that I'm speaking to, Siri just popped up and said, yes, Kimberly. That's another tool that we use. Maybe you're on the Google platform and you're using Alexa. That's another tool. These companies have been using it for over 20 years. Now, it wasn't available here in the marketplace for us until some years later, but they've been around. So again, nothing new, but something new to our hands. So here's what I say to you today. AI is not the future of technology, despite what you've been hearing. It is the technology of today. Today, it's shaping our future. And I want you to think about how your future is as a speaker, maybe how your future is even as a parent, as a consumer, as an employee at any company. AI is touching every aspect of our world. In fact, it was my 16-year-old who made me go back and revisit AI. Having been familiar with it for many, many years, he started talking about these new apps and tools that he was using. And I said, wait a minute, let me look at this. And I started using it more and more and more. And here's what I believe. The future of AI, we have two options: embrace or be erased. That's it. It's simple. When we think about how computers came and took our world by the storm, we know that companies that did not embrace technology, that continued doing manual paper processes, somehow became disappeared. They vanished from the world, and their business practices became very archaic. And I want to challenge you all today to think about how you can embrace this technology and use it not just for a day-to-day, but maybe as a speaker as you grow. Now, the number one most popular tool right now in the space is Chat GPT. If you've used Chat GPT or you've at least heard it, raise your hand. Yes, I see Mr. Olson raising his hand. I see Jazz raising her hand. Yes, 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 yes. Michael, thank you. All use this tool. Now, Judy, thank you, thank you. Now, here's a question I want you to ask yourself, and this is a quick cursory review. Where are you with it? How are you using it? Do you love it and you're integrating it into your business daily? Are you using it for a few tasks here and there? Maybe you just started experimenting, exploring the tool. Or maybe you're on the other side. I don't use it, I don't like it, and it's not for me. Here's what I've heard more often. And I've been teaching AI probably the last year. As a business strategist, business growth strategy, AI is one of my power tools that I help my organizations and clients use so they can leverage and grow and expand their business. But what I know is that Chat GPT and so many others have been a critical piece in the marketplace. So when you look at where you are, let's look at how you can change that and really think about where you stand, either on the place of fear, because here's what people are saying. AI is going to replace me. AI is going to take over all the jobs. Well, guys, I'm here to tell you something else. Nope, that's not going to happen. And you know why? Because technology, this AI tool, they need us. They need our human interaction. They need our logic to help tell it what to do and how to do it so that it can be successful and produce the results that we want. And I'll talk a little bit about that in the future. But really quick, fear, or are you future focused? Looking at who you can become or what your organization can become or do as a result of using AI. So as you think about that, I put something here, simple, and I use this on a lot of presentations. So I talk about 4 things that every entrepreneur, 4 things every speaker, 4 things every business owner must have in order to be successful. Number 1 is a strategy. Number 2, a system. Number 3, sales. Without those 3 things, we know that you're not going to grow. But I think there's something even more important in self-belief. This is simple. Yes, it's a simple term, but it's not always simple to do. And so when you think about self-belief, it's about having confidence in your ability or your judgment. And I believe that this is the one of the 4 things that can either make or break you. So when you think about AI, you think about being a speaker. We have to believe in our product, believe in our company, and more importantly, believe in ourselves in order to move forward. So when we look at this, I want you to think about why should you use AI? And just thinking about your belief factor and why this can change your world and the world of those that you serve and the people that you're in front of. Number 1, efficiency. Number 2, insights. Personalization. You're thinking it's a computer talking on my behalf. No, the computer is speaking to enhance what you're bringing to the table. How about better customer service or being able to have a competitive advantage above any other organization? Remember, there's only one of you. And if you're a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, and you're the only one in the marketplace providing the service, then you need AI. You need to bring it into your world so that you can transform the world as a whole. AI is saving dollars, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. It's saving money. And if you have any budget, and again, if you have any budget, there's always a desire to save and decision-making at its very best. But I'm going to speak to how it can help you as speakers specifically, but I think about growth and innovation. By show of hands, how many of you want to grow your business? Yes. Yes. Good, Marilyn. I love it. Yes. Michael, thank you. I'm sure all of you. And some of you may not have a business, and maybe you're working and at a job and even wanting to help the organization as a whole grow. So let's look at 5 ways each and every one of you here today can use AI for growth. And I'm speaking as a speaker specifically. Now, I talk about this in different subject areas, but today we're talking as a speaker. Number 1, research. There's a lot of data, depending on how you use it, out there that you can take from AI and say, AI, give me statistics from 2016, from 2019 on this particular topic. This is one of my favorite things to do because I am a research by nature. Number 2 is brainstorming. Thinking about, you have some speech things, some passion points in your heart, things that resonate with you, maybe an industry you've worked in. You can use AI to help you brainstorm some topics, help you brainstorm some points to add to your speech that will really enhance your speech and really give your speakers, your audience, a better perspective. I love number 3 because that speech development piece. Sometimes you're stuck. You know that you have a great piece. And I love Connie's piece, but she talked about writing. And sometimes we're stuck. Speech giving is writing. We have to write. Use AI to help you get a new point, develop that point further. Now, you may not use every aspect of it, but having it at your hand, at your, just at your leisure would be a powerful point. Speech analysis. How about we develop a speech? We're feeling okay about it, or maybe we feel amazing about it. We can go and tell AI, here's my audience. Will this speech resonate with the folks that I'm presenting to? Wow, wow, wow. Wouldn't we all want to know that? I want to know that when I stand before a crowd, that my speech is going to resonate. It's going to touch base. It's going to connect with them in such a way that I walk away successful. And number 5 is social media. And if you're growing your business, you want to be able to show up on social media. How often, when, and getting prompts and tools and resources that will help you do that. So you see right here, AI is powerful. And when I say powerful, it truly gives you an competitive advantage. I see right here, I said provide women-owned businesses. That was my last presentation. I didn't fix that one. So it's any businesses, just so you know. But I talk about strategy, system, and sales again. AI is going to be that tool for you. But here's the key thing that I think about. Look at all the ways that you can use it. I've given you a few, but video editing. I have a tool that I'm going to share with you in just a moment that will take your content, take your 30-minute presentation, 60-minute presentation, and chop it down to 1-minute segments, 2-minute segments, 3-minute segments that you can use on YouTube or Instagram or LinkedIn. There's stuff out here to help you grow. How about data entry, engagement? Giving you the tools and knowing whether it's SEO or knowing the trigger words, the keywords to use to get out there in the marketplace. It's going to help you make those decisions. But even something as simple as email sorting and filtering. Let me tell you, I was just telling someone today, I have multiple emails because I own multiple businesses. One of my emails has 51,000 emails in it, 29,000, 7,000. And I think about how I've used email sorting and filtering to eliminate all the junk, the trash. And here's my favorite part, to unsubscribe. Unsubscribe. You probably find yourself on lists that you did not sign up for. Someone got your email and there you are. So you can see email is there, but more importantly, AI is here. And AI works if and only you use it. So let's think about that. Like anything in our lives, if we don't use it, you lose it. I once was very fluent in Spanish. I stopped speaking Spanish on a regular basis. So guess what happened? I lost it. Not completely. There's still some general things I can say. Same thing with French. Fluent in French. I don't use it as often. So guess what? I'm losing it. Same thing with AI. You want to use this tool. You're at the forefront of it because it is still, quote unquote, fairly new. Not new, but fairly new in the marketplace. And this is going to be the tool to help you take the lead. Here's a quote: to embark on the journey towards your goals and dreams require bravery. To remain on that path requires courage. But the bright side that merges the two is the commitment to use it, to do it, and actually engage with it on a regular and consistent basis. Now, I want you to imagine for a moment your business with better systems, better service, greater influence, greater impact, more revenue, and more sales. what would your world look like as a speaker? You show up on more stages, you'd have better email sequences, more continuity with those customers after you've spoken. Because we know if you're in business as a speaker, standing on a stage is your best business card. That's your best marketing tool. And the more you're there, the more you show up, hopefully you have a product in the end to convert a book, a course, a program. AI can help you build those things, help you automate those things, and show up consistently in front of that audience. This is your power. Now, the question is, are you ready to use the power that is presented before you? Now, I want to give you some tools and let you know that AI is the best partnership you can have. It's the perfect partner. When I say that, I put two things on this page to really make you think about your perfect partner. And I know as adults, married, or maybe even single, depending on what stage and season in your life, we all dream of that perfect spouse, the one that does and sees life the way we do. But I'll tell you, AI is truly better than the perfect spouse. And the reason I say that is because AI doesn't talk back. AI will do what you've asked it to do. And in fact, you can massage it and it'll do even more and more and more. So I love that. And then the perfect assistant. Over the years, I've had some outstanding assistants that helped me develop products, processes that blew my mind, but there was still something there that I had to tweak. And that's the same thing true with AI. You're still going to have to tweak it to teach it how to work with you. It is not a cookie cutter. Yes, it will give you a response that it gave Julie and John, but you want to customize that so that it works for you. Give it your product name. Tell it about your speech. Tell it when it gives you results, go back and say, no, make it funny, make it humorous, make it sad, make it whatever you want to be conveyed. You have to be willing to do it and talk to this tool because it truly is the perfect partner. Now, I mentioned this before, but I want to just share again how this partnership, how you can harness AI to your advantage. Think about your time. And I say this all the time. Time is money. Time is money. And when we can save time, but yet produce more and more and more, we're actually increasing our revenues. The insights that you're going to get from AI. Now, keep in mind, AI, there's a lot of talk about it being biased. Yes. There's a lot of talk about AI having a female voice or male voice. There's a lot of talk out here. You have to work with these tools to get it to where it learns you and how you want to operate and the insights that it can give. You want to also go back and track and make sure they're accurate. Today, I was looking at AI and it gave me some data, and it referenced 2021, which it was relevant in 2021. We're in 2023. I needed something more current. So I had to go in and then reposition and tell AI to give me some different results. When you use AI as a tool, folks, you're going to be able to have a global reach. That is, if that is your desire, because now we know the internet allows us to speak around the world. The cost efficiency, but more importantly, the confidence and the competitiveness that you'll be able to achieve utilizing AI. It's time to harness the power. I want to give you some examples of how you can use it. As a speaker, chatbots, smart assistants. If you're doing stuff with e-payments, I have speaking programs, I have coaching programs, I have a ton of stuff. I use AI to help me set it up to actually give me the verbiage to ensure that the page is speaking volume to the audience I'm attracting. Customer service, facial recognition, text editors. I have amazing text editor that I use that I absolutely love. And that's why today I want to share with you some tools. In just a moment, we're going to go into what I call the hands-on. I'm going to invite and challenge you all to take screenshots because I want to see, or I want to encourage you all to try it if you're not already trying and already using it. So here we are, hands-on. Who's ready for some hands-on? Whoop, 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 whoop. Give me a hands up if you're ready for some hands-on. Enough talking, Kimberly. Show me the magic, or as I think Tom Cruise says, show me the money. This is the time for me to show you the money. So now let's look at some tools. Look at some tools right here. Again, I invite you to take a screenshot. Grow your speaking with AI. Now I'm giving you some, what I consider not generic, but some baseline ones, because there's so many more out there. Speech coach, Yodi. I love this one because if you're new to speaking or you want to enhance your speaking, this is a tool you can utilize, and they actually have a free option to help you go online live in your computer, just like we are today, and it'll give you feedback. It'll tell you about your pace. It'll tell you about your eye contact, your content, all those various things. Because as a speaker, you want to be polished. You want to show up in such a way that people will invite you back or pay you the big bucks. And this tool will help you. Jasper AI, and I use this one for so many things. Right here, I talked about AI copywriter. Now, we know as speakers, we have to promote our brand, our business, so we can increase our bottom line. This is going to help you write that copy. If you're creating a website, if you're on social media, if you're doing these different tools, excellent tool for you. I love being able to take my words from a presentation and put it in a blog, put it in a Facebook post, put it in an email, because I believe that in order for us to have that continuity, we've got to show up top of mind. We need to be at the top of their mind, and that's through our email list, through our regular newsletters. Otter allows me to do that. I'll throw this. I actually use Otter here on Zoom as well. There's an Otter copy you can put right in. It'll take every single word that I've said on this meeting and put it in Word format that we can use. This next one, I want you to write this down. It's really, really important. Video.io, video.io, basically. Video conversion. Let me explain this one. 60-minute presentation you did for ABC Corporation. You happen to have videotaped the whole thing. Lots of nuggets within that presentation. You take it over to Video.io and it will convert it to small snippets that you can use to promote your brand, your business, your talk. You get 75 minutes free per month. 75 minutes, friends. So if you're really looking to grow, this is a power tool. And I put Canva, I put AI YouTube consultant. I must have mistyped that one. Canva, just being your resource. Canva just released some new releases yesterday. I love, love, love Canva because it not only allows you to show up visually so people can see your brand. As you can see this presentation right here, I created this in Canva using some of their AI tools. And this is beautiful because when I go before my audience, they can see how it works. Now let's look at the social media side of speaking. ChatGPT, it does everything. You guys know that. Repurpose.io, auto post on social media. If you're trying to show up consistently and regularly, get a system that will work for you. Video.io will allow you to take that 60-minute presentation, repurpose it in your YouTube, use it in your blog, use it in your newsletter. You can do that, and repurpose will allow you to do that and auto post on your behalf. Synthesia, another one, virtual AI representative, there to help you, support you, and help you even with chatbotting and things of that nature. vidIQ is that AI YouTube consultant. So this is a little bit different than Video.io. vidIQ, this is a magic tool. It'll tell you, based on the content that you speak and teach on, what are the buzzwords? What are the words to use to SEO to bring your content to the top so that the world can see? It'll give you content, things that you can use to really touch base and fine tune so you show up well. And then DALL-E E2, I love this one because they're even repurposing this one a little bit more. Initially, it was all about art to text, but I see them doing a lot more with this tool as well. I hope you took a screenshot because these are tools that are going to help you grow your business. And then here's a few more that I think you'll love. Your bottom line, that's the cha-ching. That's how you put the dollars in your pocket. The first two were as well, but now we're looking at the profit, the presentation side. The first one is beautiful AI. Now, I didn't use it for this one, but I use Beautiful AI often to give me some prompts for slides. What can I add as a visual? This I did on my own because I love creative. I love the visual aspect of it. Jasper AI, another one we spoke about earlier, it can write sexy copy. And that's what I love about any of the tools, whether it's ChatGPT, Jasper, you can say, make it sexy, or maybe make this appeal to 12-year-olds. Make this appeal to college students. Speak to women, business owners. Depending on your audience, you can go and find the AI tool that's going to give you the right formula to create the right mix, to create the right solution for whomever you're serving. I've already spoken about Synthesia. I love it because it helps you create landing pages. I was on another tool that I used yesterday. It's a proprietary tool that I use as my CRM, and they've integrated now where I can just say, here's what I'm building. Create this landing page. Now, it doesn't do everything for me. I still have to give my brain and my direction, tell it what type of pictures I want, but guess what? It works and it creates magic. Now, I think AI is magic. It's like putting your magic wand out and going, and I know if you're anything like me, you want magic to happen in your business as a speaker. And this is what it will do. You'll see the SEO expert. This is where, if you want to show up, this is a tool that'll help you show up in the marketplace. Because I know when we show up, we actually have an opportunity to go up. So speakers, hopefully you've captured those 3 slides. If not, raise your hand. I'll go back and share them again. But I tried to stay on them long enough that you can capture. But here's some things I want you to think about. AI is a powerful tool. I told you that, especially when you use it. But I want you to think about how AI can pose some challenges. And this is what I say to you. Use AI to your advantage, not to your disadvantage. I think a lot of people, when they initially started using AI, they let AI tell the story for them. They let AI talk without any emotion, without any personal connection. And when you look at that, that's what can happen if you don't customize it, if you don't tell it who you are and how you want to show up in the world. There's a lot of things because technology is a tool. It's a resource when we use it the right way. We know that there's all good, bad, and evil, but I think this is something we can use to our advantage. So I challenge you to think about that. Use your voice, not just the computer's voice. Use yours and don't allow that to be your challenge. So AI doesn't replace our creativity, friends. It empowers it. Are you looking to be empowered today? Are you looking to change the state of your business, to change your bottom line? If so, I want to challenge you to incorporate AI in. I have 4 strategies to help you grow your business. Innovate, penetrate, activate, accelerate. And I'm going to switch the order. Innovate, activate, penetrate, accelerate. That's what it's all about. And when you go here to innovate, here's how you can use AI. And I've given you some examples, but I want to give you a little bit more. For brainstorming, looking at market trends, and creating prototypes for your business. And this next slide, I just show you what innovation is all about, the ideation process. How do I create what I want to create? If you all were in my house right now, you probably go crazy because my boards, I have boards, whiteboards all over. I have thousands of notes, ideas, things that I have done and want to do. I don't know if you've been around for a while, but I have a book that's titled Millions of Possibilities. And it's all about taking your ideas from inspiration to monetization. So I love the ideation process. And that's what Innovate is all about. Using AI as that tool to brainstorm and come up with ways that you can really move your business forward. The second one is Activate. Looking at your current processes, looking at what you can implement in the space that you exist. Even as a speaker, we know speaking is a field where there's so many people out there, but there's only one of you. How do you innovate, ideate in such a way that you bring people to you? And that's by streamlining, looking at, oh, I'm doing this, but how can I use AI to help me do this faster, better, stronger? How do I implement and optimize what I currently have? Now, when we think about innovate, when we think about activate, I want you to think about this word, action. Action. I think for myself personally, there's a lot of thinking that goes on here. But I think we have to go beyond the thinking and get into the action. I left these lines here. These are things for you. And if you want, please feel free to drop in the chat. I'll send you this presentation so that you can write some action steps for yourself. There's one thing to think about it. There's another thing to go into action. The next one is about penetrating, because now you've implemented, you've activated. How do you penetrate that market? First, you have to define it, number one, right? Then you have to develop those strategies. And here's what AI can help you do. Help you define your target market. Because I think as a business consultant, as a business strategist, this has probably been one of the biggest challenges that people face. They come into and say, I want to serve people. All people. Yeah, you can do that. But we know that we have to nail that down a little bit more, right? The riches are in the niches. So we have to look at who is that we want to serve? Who do we want to speak to? Who do we want to stand on that stage before? And then tailor strategies just for those people. Once you've identified it, tell AI, give me some examples, give me some ideas on how I would speak to investment bankers. How would I speak to IT computer programmers in their 30s? How do I? AI is there waiting for you. And it'll allow you to also penetrate and expand online. See, we've lived in a world where we spoke in person for so long, but thanks to the pandemic, now there's so many online opportunities. I started teaching as a college professor back in 2001 online, which I thought was ridiculous. But I tell you, it was one of the best things ever. And as a result, my business has progressively grown since 2001 online, because I then began to understand the model even more so now with the technologies today. So when you think about penetrate, think about dominate. How do I dominate the marketplace with what I have and what I want to offer to the world? Because you can. Penetrate, dominate. Those are the terms that I put together. Just think about that. And then the next one is accelerate. This is the implementation, but not just on the implementation, but on a fast pace. How do we go a little bit faster using what we have? What I tell people, and you probably know this, there's nothing new under the sun. Nothing. It's your unique touch, your unique style, how you present that makes it unique in the marketplace. And now is your time to accelerate, to really implement what you have, enhance it, and look at how do I scale it? Connie talked about writing a book. That's one of the best business cards you can have. As a speaker, it builds your credibility. People say, oh, I want Ralph Dieter at my conference because he wrote a book and he's talking about this topic. That's magic. That's scaling. That's a podcast. I have a podcast. I have a book. All these tools in place to help me show up on the stage, to help me build the credibility and actually perform at my best. And so when you think about accelerate, here's what I want you to do. Run. Run, and keep running. If you know anything about me, I am a runner. I just came back from running the Berlin Marathon. I've been running every single day for the last 8 years. And I'll tell you, that's what this business is about. If we're speaking, we should be running. Run across the stage. Let them see who you are and how you can enhance their business, their practice, their knowledge base with the information that you have that you've used AI to power up with. Friends, I'll tell you, don't live down to expectations. Go out there and do something remarkable using the tools that we have at our fingertips. I have the AI, the robot, and it shows the fingertips because that's where the magic happens. So I want you to lead with curiosity, innovate with purpose, and shape a future we are really, really, really hard to be a proud of. AI will help you do that. And I know it firsthand. I've been using it. I love it. And for those of you that may want a little bit more, because I gave you a little test, I have a program called the AI Business Accelerator, empowering entrepreneurs, intensifying innovation. And it's for all industries, but it really gives that deep dive into AI, what it is and how it can help you. So now, stay connected. I'm on social media. I'm here at the Speakers Bureau, available for questions, comments, thoughts. plug in, get connected with me. Join my newsletter, learn more about how you can use AI as a speaker, as a business professional, and really take your business to the next level. With that, that's all I have, friends. I'm so excited that I was given this opportunity, Tom, the team, to speak on AI, because I really know that when you use it, you can leverage, grow your business in ways that you never dreamt possible. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
And thinking maybe we can put our heads together sometime and you can give me some thoughts. One of the goals I've been working on for the last 2 or 3 years is to get our speakers out to more locations to give their presentations. And so maybe we could take advantage of some of those suggestions and get more exposure for our qualified speakers. So thank you for doing that. We might have a time for questions. So if someone has a question for her, let's do that before we close up, and we're about ready to close up. But anybody with I don't see a hand here. Someone with a question for her. Okay, well, we're going to go on. I know Michael Olson is going to be speaking at the next meeting. Next meeting is November 1. And I don't know if we were nice enough to Miriam to let her to have her want to come back again, but we will find that out. Maybe she'll tell me whether she wants to be one of our speakers. But Michael Olson wanted to say a little bit about what he's going to bring us. He is going to be in person. He's in Colorado, but he will be here on that date in person to speak at our November 1 Speakers Bureau, and also talk him into speaking at the Kiwanis Club locally right after that. So, Michael, fill us in on what we have to look forward to next month.
Certainly. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. When we all decided to join Toastmasters, we had a story as to why we joined Toastmasters. My particular story is I had destroyed my life, my family, and my career because of addiction. What I have done is to become a professional speaker in order to be able to help other people avoid doing that to their lives. I wanted to help people to overcome their addictions as well as create a new successful life in place of what they have destroyed before. So the speech that I'll be giving is talking about a little bit about my story, and I want to talk about not just transforming your life, but forging the new life that you want to have. Now, Connie and I have talked before, and I'm going to be coming to her club because I have a new book that's going to be coming out right at the same time I'm coming to California. And if you will come to the meeting next month, you will have an opportunity to purchase a digital copy of that book for free if you will just promise to read the book and give me a review on it for the time that it is going to be launched shortly after the meeting. So I hope that you'll have an opportunity to come to the meeting. I look forward to seeing you all, and I'll turn this back over to Tom.
Thank everyone for being here. Hopefully we'll begin to have a few more people coming in person, but I appreciate Rob going to all the trouble of putting the technology here and handle that screen share pretty good. With that, I think we have made the announcements. November 1 is our next meeting. And with that, thank you for being here.